Imagine spending your entire life feeling like living in debt was normal. Some people actually live like this. But there's a way to change this lifestyle just by knowing what financial literacy is and by applying it properly to your life. If you wish to live a life that is debt-free with the knowledge of how to save and spend your money properly, you must know the basic financial skills. Because teaching financial literacy would help set our kids up to become wise with spending and saving money as adults, Congress should implement courses or electives that teach financial literacy in our school systems. Today, I'm going to be speaking on why financial literacy should be taught in our schools. First, let's look at why there is a need for financial literacy teaching and what financial literacy actually is. What is financial literacy? According to Brianna McEurin at Experian website, financial literacy is the confident understanding of concepts that include saving, investing, and debt that lead to the overall sense of financial well-being and self-trust. Kids today don't know the basic simple life skills. These may include setting up a bank account, knowing how to properly manage your money, or how to save your money. University Wire tells us that many students have very little knowledge on these things. An article written by Lucy Holden says that since there are so many apps that do things such as manage how much money you spend in a week and track your expenses, students aren't getting real-life hands-on experiences with these things like they used to. Our kids aren't learning these things in their schools, which is a big deal. According to Forbes, only 17 states in our country require personal finance courses in their school systems. Kids now also don't know how to transition into adulthood successfully. They have had templates for everything growing up, and they've never learned how to do things themselves. They have no idea how to balance checkbooks, how to manage credit cards, or how to file taxes. Positive Action states that according to the National Financial Education Council, students are concerned for their financial future. Forbes website also states that according to a study done by Credit Karma and Qualtrics, 63% of their respondents wish that there were personal finance courses taught in our schools. Students also have no critical thinking skills. They've never learned how to think and do things for themselves. They've always had things handed to them. Financial literacy website states that people aren't saving money or investing, so they can't retire, they aren't able to buy homes, and they have so much college and card funds to pay off, and they end up in debt. These necessities are needed in our schools in order for our children to grow up to become successful adults. Teaching financial literacy would not only familiarize our students with these concepts, but also help them start applying them to their lives. Savings is one of the biggest things. Saving is essential to good budgeting. Elena Ritchie at Annuity website states that you should open a savings account, and these are meant to prevent emergencies from draining your personal bank account. Teaching your students these concepts will not only familiarize them, but also help them to start saving better. By taking little amounts of money at a time and putting them into your bank account, that money will start to accumulate and grow, and eventually you will have enough money for emergencies or to invest in retirement. Pioneer Trust Bank also suggests that you teach your kids how to save their money with their money that they've earned from their allowance or small jobs, and take them and divide them into short-term savings accounts and bigger savings accounts. With younger children, it is suggested that you take their money and put them in jars in the home, and their parents can guide them on how much money they need to save up if they want to do something or buy something. Financial literacy also welcomes responsibility. Responsibility helps students to be wise with their money. Positive action states that these are some examples of wise money choices. Examples are choosing what career path to take, whether or not to have children, or a smaller one would be what to have for dinner. Responsibility comes handy in areas such as money management, wise spending, and filtering out what purchases are necessary and which ones aren't. Bola Sukumbi at Clever Girl Finance states that distinguishing your needs from your wants is one of the biggest things in savings. Responsibility also helps with financial stability. Phil Town at Rule on Investment states that if you see you're losing money, figure out what's draining your budget. Something that could be draining your budget is if you eat out frequently and don't finish your food, that's wasting money. Now that we've seen what we can do to change these needs, we can visualize what we can see in the future. By implementing these courses in our schools, we can hopefully see that our next generation of adults will be more responsible with their money. To get our children familiar with these concepts, we must implement these courses in our schools or teach them young. Along with courses that are already in schools, we could add electives such as personal finance, budgeting, and debt. Lucy Holden also suggests that you take an adulting class. An adulting class consists of things like home and car maintenance, how to cook, and money management. You could also set a budget for yourself. Elena Ritchie at Annuity website gives us the steps on how to successfully create a budget. First, you would track your expenses, identify your variables, and add up about 3 months worth of those expenses. Then you would study your variables, cut out the unnecessary ones, factor in your savings, and then it would be time to set your budget. This also sets boundaries for you financially. Bola Sukumbi at Clever Girl Finance also suggests that you cut out all the unnecessary purchases. These could be clothing items that are not needed, expensive coffee, or eating out frequently. By implementing these classes in our schools, we can hopefully see the good results. Another thing that is super important is to introduce these concepts to your children while they're little. With introducing them while they're still very young, they will have a better understanding of what finance is. PR Newswire New York says that if you introduce these concepts to your children while they're young, it can make a world of difference. Pioneer Trust Bank also says that if you explain the difference between different savings accounts, it can also make a big difference too. Kellyanne Smith at Bankrate website suggests that parents help their children set and achieve goals by helping them save their money. From what we have discussed, I hope that you can see how big of a problem this is. By implementing these classes into our schools, we can hopefully see that our next generation of adults will be more financially stable. From what we have discussed, financial literacy is one of the most basic life skills needed to survive. If we wish to see the results of our wishes, we must put in the work that is needed. Thank you.